Yo, hey folks, what's up? It's Kevin, Big K Horror, and I'm going to review a new slasher movie that's actually kind of built up a fan base because it's actually so 80s. Not so much in the technology that made it. The technology that made it's very 2012, but the heart behind it, kind of the homages, and yes, I say homages. Some may say rip off, but I say homage. It's kind of like. It's an homage to me to a lot of the campus slasher film tropes. So if you're familiar with films such as let's say as Black Christmas, Sorority House Massacre, Final Exam, Halloween, Prom Night, especially with like a score kind of with like along the lines of Prom Night and definitely with Black Christmas, you want to check out Justin Russell's The Sleeper. All right. Now, yeah, this movie came out just last year. It was like this little movie that could. It's kind of being, although I don't know if I agree with this because it says what Ty West did for the 70s, in reference to The House of the Devil, which really looked like it came right out of that time. Justin Russell has done for the 80s. Well, he has done, but like if you're going to expect like this movie to look like it was actually made in the 80s, all the hairstyles and everything match up and stuff, you might be sorely little disappointed. But what they lack in that element of how everything was spot on, everything else is just fucking great. Like the lighting of the shots, when you see these shots, you'll be like, oh, that's Prom Night. Oh, I know this. Oh, that's Final Exam, that chase sequence. Oh, da-da-da-da. It's got so much. It's just like, but it's not a ripoff. It's not like literally lifting the same shot for shot. It's not. It's kind of doing a variation on the theme and doing its own spin. But with the type of chords in the score, plus with the scene, the corded telephone, the rotary telephone and stuff, and the prank calls, and just all this stuff. And the killer also has like no real identity. I mean, you see his face and stuff. He's just got these cold, dead blue, white blue eyes, and he's just wearing like a leather jacket with leather gloves, and he hauls a hammer or an axe or whatnot, just whatever implement of death he's going to use, because he uses several. But this is seriously, like, if you're a fan of old school slasher films, I'm telling you, like, seriously, like the ones I mentioned. I'm not saying it's on par with the original Bob Clark Black Christmas from 1974. I'm not going to say that. But if you like stuff like, God, if you could sit through anything such as like, Prom Night and like Final Exam and House on Sorority Row and, all those, like, you gotta check this movie out because it's awesome. Like, I remember the first time I watched it, I liked it. I was kind of like, okay, well, it didn't seem so like it was filmed in the 80s, like House of the Devil was done in the 70s or 80s itself, and then I kind of looked beyond that. I was like, okay, I walked into this wrong. I see what he means. It's like the heart of the film is of the 80s, and so is all the homages. So if you're a fan of all those early 80s, like slasher theme films, you will pick up a lot of these homages. And it's not done in a recycled way to where you're like, oh, I've been there, done that. It's in its own fresh way, I think, but it's just so cool to see a movie that actually tries to pull out this hallmarks and tropes from the old school era of slash films and rips it into this one, and he does it in a damn great way. Like, I hope he makes another slasher film soon, because I mean, really, this is like a vintage looking one like this, because he really the nail did hit the head, and and it's pretty much about these two girls, these two girls on college campus who just want to get the fuck out of their dorm. Amy and Eva. Amy's kind of like kind of resourceful, sweet, naive, but kind of goes along with things just because she wants to get out of her dorm. She wants to join a sorority and have a life out there. And she pulls her kind of goth best friend Ava, who's all pale and tragic and everything, and so she talks her into going, and then they end up actually having a good time, especially Ava, the kind of goth girl. And so they build camaraderie with sorority girls, and in that time there's this person, like this guy I told you about. You don't know who he is, why he is, whatever. All he does is he sits in this weird cellar room with one little like dingy light bulb with all the picture, like the portrait, like senior portrait pictures of the sorority girls lined up on the wall, and he's got like a lipstick tube or something he crosses out, when he's like nighty nights, because he kills them like while they sleep. and then when he's done with you, you're like, sleep for good. Ha 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 ha. Okay, so seriously though, but no, this movie is a fun little gem. It really is. Like it's one of my favorites of last year. Like I'm not saying it was my favorite. It wasn't my favorite, but man, it was fucking awesome. And I actually I log it in with my 80s slasher films. It doesn't go with my newer films. It goes with my 80s. That's where it belongs. Like everything from the score, the shots, the pacing, the characters, everything's so 80s about it. I mean, really, it is. And I love all the scenes of, I mean, it's been a while since I've seen a campus slasher film, a new one. And it's got so many wonderful scenes of the, you know, the main lead girl, final girl, like crossing across from class to class or the campus in the snowy nighttime and stuff. And it's just, it has a lot of good imagery in it, I think, in my opinion. You know, it's so cool though because it also has like, you know, the one girl will peek out the window and see like the shot of the killer standing there in the dark with his arms out to the side, kind of like a Some Party Massacre. You'll see, you know, like the scene of him picking up the phone and prank calling the girls or pre-warning them who's going to be next. You know, things like that. Like it's got all those old hallmarks from the old slasher era, and then thrown into this. Like, and it's like he threw everything up against the wall, see what stuck, and everything just stuck. You know, nothing. You know. So for me anyway, I loved it. I didn't need an overly explanation of why this guy was doing it. We know I've seen Scream 500,000 times and all the other imitators. We've already had excuses for all the reasons why people do it. Now in the early 80s, they didn't always have excuses. They were just fucking crazy. And so that's what's nice about this. It doesn't pander into exposition after exposition. You just kind of accept it like the old slashers, and it does just that. And man, if you don't have it, or you've never seen it, buy it and just give it a chance. Even if you see it the first time, you're just kind of like, well, oh, that wasn't very 80s. Well, again, don't remember the look of it. It does not look 80s. I mean, it looks like it was a modern-made film and the technology behind it. But again, the plot, the shots, the devices used throughout it are very 80s. And I guarantee you, I mean, it has some good gore shots too. Some are lacking and some are just awesome. So I'm just gonna say, this gets my thumbs up. Check it out. That is Justin Russell's The Sleeper. Alright, peace out.